Here are some of the common questions I'm asked on social media. First is, can I pick your brain? And the second is, can you be my mentor? And while the intention of these questions are good, they're not very effective with actually getting a mentor. Over the course of me investing in real estate for 3 years now, I've had 2 main mentors for real estate investing. And I just want to share exactly how I got them to be my mentors. And if you're new to the channel, my name's Justin Wrong, and I've helped hundreds of people make money in real estate. So my first mentor's name was Terrence, and I got him as a mentor when I was actually living in Fresno, California still. I'm no longer there, I live in Vegas now. But at the time, I was just getting started in real estate investing. I bought 1 rental property. I was not an agent at the time, so it was just 1 rental property, basically coming right out of college. And I wanted to buy more properties, but I didn't really know how. I kind of wanted to learn the house flipping game because I bought a rental, but once I bought the rental, I was like, okay, now I'm out of money. Like, I'm out of money, I don't know how to buy more houses. And I was basically asking all my friends, hey, is your mom in real estate investing? Is your dad a real estate investor? And I was just asking them like, hey, connect me with people that are real estate investors so I can learn more. Because at the time, my only mentors were just podcast guests. Like any podcast I heard, I just kind of learned from the people's stories and their mistakes and their failures and their wins. But I didn't have people where I can actually meet them in person and give them a handshake and talk to them. And so I was trying to build that kind of community up. A lot of my friends, after a bunch of lunches, I got to meet their dads or moms, whatever. But there's this one person in particular, and this came after asking my dad, hey, like, do you know anyone in real estate? And he gave me this guy's name. His name's Terrence, and it's a friend of his. And so I just met him for lunch one time, and I kind of told him what I was about and what I was doing. And so I told him I'm fresh out of college. I guess I was working at a bank full time too. I told him I bought 1 rental property. I remember the question he asked me. Like, he kind of told me a little bit about himself. So he was a house flipper himself. He flipped residential real estate, and he also bought big commercial buildings. But I remember the question he asked was the main question. I'm probably botching it, but he asked me essentially like, why are you doing this? Like, why real estate in the first place? Like, what's the point? Like, he's trying to get to know me as a person and not just like, you just want to make a lot of money. I knew at the time my answer because I knew it wasn't just about money for me. Like, money's a big reason. Like, I wanted the financial freedom, which I told him. But I also told him I really liked the business model of real estate investing. And so at the time, I only had the experience of 1 rental, but I told him how I felt about it. And so I remember buying that first rental property. I liked the business model where if you had a rental property, you as the landlord would get rental income, so you would win. But also the tenant, yeah, they're paying, but they have a place to live, so they win too. It was a model or a business model where there was a very big win-win situation. And I told him that was kind of new to me, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's like I came from a team sport background, and he was a sports guy too. He's a pro baseball player. But I came from a team sport background with like basketball, volleyball, whatever it was. And I told him how like it felt like that. It felt like I was leading a sports team again. I felt like everyone was winning together, and I really, really love that. I want to feel more like that. And so that was kind of the thing that I said in general. Like, I'm sure I said other stuff, but it was like 3 years ago. But I remember him asking me that, and I was like, that's an interesting question to ask. And I get why he asked it, because from that, when I answered that question, he kind of gave me the, I see, like, I get it. I understand now. And I think at that point, like, I didn't work for him straight away. We probably had another year before we actually got close again. We touched bases here and there. You know, I heard maybe he would hear a podcast, and maybe that was super valuable for a big business owner. I was like, hey, like, I would send him podcasts. You might want to listen to this. Like, this is really, really good stuff. Be appreciative. And I just try to be nice. I sent a thank you letter. I think that was big too. Like, I would send thank you letters to him. I sent a thank you letter to his assistant at the time, like his front desk assistant. And as time went on, I remember meeting him again, and I asked him, I was like, hey, like, can I help you in any way? Can I work for you? And he kind of told me like what he did. Like, he owned not just real estate, but like actual like businesses and stuff. Like, there was an ice rink in town that he's like, hey, like, you can check out this place and see how we can improve it. And so I remember I would go to the ice rink, and I would just walk around at the ice rink that he was, I think he's like part owner or whatever. And I would just give ideas. I was like, oh, like, you can put a machine right here, like vending machine, whatever I said. I don't even know. Like, they were probably bad ideas, but I just gave every idea on like improvement for the rink. I was like, oh, like, your little food stand area like looks really, really bad. Like, maybe have it nicer, the pricing or whatever. Like, I made little suggestions here and there, like put it in the document. I emailed it to him, and I would just give like suggestions because I was trying to help. I was really just trying to help learn business, to be honest. And so I remember sending that to him, and he's like, oh, this is good stuff. And then I remember checking out some of his websites for some of his companies. Like, there's this real estate company, like the flipping one, and I looked at the website, and like, these are really bad things on a website. Like, there's so much ways to improve it. And I'm not a coder or anything, but I just like gave him my suggestions for everything. Like I was just trying to help. And he took it, he was like, oh, this is awesome, thank you. Like I'm gonna send it to my guy. And then I remember when I met him again, he was like, yeah, that was good. Like I remember sending your suggestions about the website. And I was like, hey, like he's saying you're doing it wrong. And then they got it fixed. And so he was super appreciative of that. And then I remember the next time I met him, and I actually wanted to work for him. I was like, hey, like I wanna see how I can help because I wanna learn more about the investing side. Like I wanna learn the house flipping and all that stuff. And he's like, if you wanna work for me, just get your license. Like I wanna make sure you're licensed. I was like, all right, fine. And I got my license right away. Like pretty soon after, like I went to take tests, take the courses, whatever, study for the test, pass the test, got my license. You know what's funny? Like I actually got my license. I did not go straight back to him. I got my license for real estate. I went to a brokerage, I signed up for their brokerage, and I started helping people buy and sell homes. So I started utilizing the license because I was like, okay, like now that I have my license, I might as well try to learn about real estate because I thought learning the realtor side would help me learn the investing when it really didn't. But then maybe like 6 months after I had my license and I was helping people buy and sell homes, I wasn't doing that great of business as a realtor. Never was. I didn't like it that much, to be honest. I came back to him and I was like, hey, I got my license now. Like, what do you need me to do? Like I started utilizing it. I started to learn the process of what transactions look like for real estate. And I was like, how can I help now? And at that point, I remember we met at one of his other businesses called Granite Park. It was essentially just a baseball business where there's a lot of baseball diamonds and stuff around. We had a conversation about like what it would look like to work for him. And honestly, I never got a super clear picture. I remember asking him, I was like, what exactly am I doing? And I think he said something to the extent of like, just gonna make money. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what am I gonna do? And really what he needed, which I didn't know at the time, but he just needed someone to run that whole house flipping operation. Like he needed someone to find deals for him. He needed someone to negotiate the deals. He needed someone to close the deal. He needed someone to bring out the contractors to get bids. And then he needed someone to manage the projects. And then also like deal with the lenders and stuff. So I basically helped him do everything. Not for a lot of deals, but just for a couple. And it was just honestly eye-opening. And so that was kind of the introduction to house flipping that I got. Basically how it worked was like I'd find a deal, I'd pitch it to him, I was like, hey, like I think this is a really good deal. Like here's what happened. I was cold calling, I found him. He wants to sell for this price. I think we can get him here. And then he kind of gave me tips on negotiation, which is super helpful, of like what to say to these homeowners. I remember that I was like, wow, like this is so cool. Like I didn't realize house flipping could be a full-time career. I thought it was just a investment type of thing. Even though house flipping, if you know what it is, it's like a 6-12 month thing where you buy a house, fix it up, and then you resell it. But for some reason, I thought it was just investing, like rental properties where you just buy something and then you have it returns forever. I didn't know that was a job. Like I didn't know it could be a career. So I worked for Terrence for about 6 months, helping him find deals and do all that stuff. And it was honestly super helpful. I'm like forever grateful for him to kind of taking me under his wing for that. And then after 6 months, I kind of went on my own. And I went on my own because I remember doing the last deal with him. I did a lot of the stuff, like almost everything. And while I knew I did not understand everything, I knew I understood enough to try it on my own. And it was a lot harder than I thought when I left him, but I'm super grateful I did. And it was kind of hard to say bye because, you know, he helped me so much and I learned a lot from him. But if Terrence, if you're watching this, man, I appreciate you so much. So that was my first mentor. And what I want you to take from that is that I didn't get him as a mentor by asking him, can you mentor me? Or I didn't say like, can I pick your brain? I got him as a mentor because I showed him that I was working really hard already. I was already investing in myself. I already bought a property at 21. I remember trying to help him so much. So he knew that I was trying to just help. And I was showing him things that I could do. He's like, he literally just told me like, oh, go to my businesses and see what can be improved. Like that was it. And I was like, okay, like I can do it. And I went to his businesses and I saw what I can improve. Looked at his website, saw what I can improve. And so I was just trying to help without asking for anything in return because I didn't want anything at the time. Like I just wanted to help and I wanted to learn. And he knew that. And so honestly, if you're looking for a mentor, just think about that story of mine. The fact that I just did a lot of free stuff for him without asking for anything in return. And over time, just because he's a good human, like he felt like he could reciprocate and he knew that I was a hustler. And so he was like, hey, like maybe we can work together. And so that's how I found him as a mentor, but it wasn't because I blatantly asked, can you be my mentor? Like I've never asked that question. And then my second real estate investing mentor I found while I was here in Vegas. His name's Ryan Pineda. You probably heard of him because he's on social media as much as I am. And I'm not gonna go super in depth with the story about how I got to know him and how he became a mentor of mine. I'll explain that in another video, but what I want you to understand is that if you want a mentor, just bring the value first and good things might come. Just bring the value, don't ask for anything in return, and try to really help. And when you're deciding on someone, like try to pick someone who you can trust. They don't have to be doing millions and billions of dollars a year, but just realize that if they're doing any amount of deals, you can learn from them. So drop your ego, try to help, work really hard, show someone that you're a hustler, show someone that you care as a person, that you're a good person. person and just try to help. And you're probably gonna get a mentor. At least that's just what I found from my personal experience. Also, if you want help to grow your real estate business, click on the link in the description below, fill out the application, and someone from my team will reach out to you for a free strategy session. Peace.